All right, guys. First of all, welcome to the afternoon. I'm not gonna say the morning. It's not even that bright of a day out, but already it looks much better in terms of video quality. Without further ado, let's get into talking about um, the first primary day that I hit, week 4, day 1, which is my primary squat and bench day. Mixed feelings about this day, to be quite honest. Squat did not feel as good as I wanted it to, given it was still pocket because I still hit it at a solid 8. In terms of how the video looked, it looked sub 6, to be quite honest. And that tells me that the strength is there. But in terms of my confidence in the squat, it's still not quite there. And with squat, for me, confidence and the mental is everything. I can be physically strong, but if the bar does not feel solid on my back, it's just a different feeling. It's a different feeling when I'm feeling confident in my squats, and it's just not there yet. So, in terms of assess and adjust, or whatever the last A was for Rondell Hunt's thing, I think it was like, yeah, assess and adjust or something like that. Um, Going into the next phase, I don't think I'm going to start pushing my squats just yet, because if I'm not feeling confident in them, I don't really believe it's a smart idea to start pushing numbers on squat just yet. So I don't think I'm going to try to trip any PRs or push any PRs going into the next block. I'm not going to try and push numbers just because that confidence isn't quite there yet. The strength is there, don't get me wrong. So I'll continue to keep building that through volume and through accessory movements. But I'm not going to push the squat up just quite yet. I'm going to wait until I get a little bit more confident with the heavier load, so like 295 plus on my back. Bit bummed out, to be quite honest. A little bit bummed out that it didn't feel as easy as I thought it would. That might just be a lesson in managing expectations, though. Maybe I came into this week thinking that it was going to be easier than it ended up being, and so maybe I should just learn to manage my expectations a little bit better, um, so that I don't get bummed out. I mean, I don't even know why I'm sad because on paper, not sad. Like I don't even know why I'm disappointed because on paper, this session went amazing. RPE 8, um, and that's just perception. Like I think if we were to take the video into account, then it would be like more of like a 7.5. But in terms of pure perception of how hard I thought it felt, RP 8, and like that was what I wanted to hit for the end of the week, right? So I don't know why I'm even disappointed. Like I think it's because I thought it was trending towards me hitting this at a 7. I think I'm going to trust my gut and say that it's a confidence issue. Let's not do anything crazy next block, right? We're still in pause triples. We're still in phase 2, right? So there's plenty of time left in the cycle to push numbers and to push, like, progress. So I'm not in any rush to do so with my squat, especially if I'm not feeling confident with heavy weights on my back, right? So yeah, going into phase 2, that's going to be my assess and adjust for squat. Bench, on the other hand, now this is why I say this session was bittersweet. Or did I say that? I don't even know. But yeah, bench on the other hand went freaking amazing. I'm so happy with bench right now. I'm so happy with bench. I hit 185. Now, with the way bench was going this block, I didn't think I would be able to hit this because I don't know. Leading up to this primary day, like leading up to this week 4 for bench, like um I just wasn't feeling confident in my bench, but yesterday when I hit it, oh my god, it was beautiful. That 185, that first rep felt freaking solid. Like I think I'm coming back to my peak strength on bench, which is good. Probably has to do with the fact that my body weight's coming up as well. So yeah, nothing to say about bench. Like not much to say about bench. I'm very happy in terms of assess and adjust for bench press going into the next phase. I do feel confident pushing numbers on bench going into the next phase. So I think I have 4s the way I structured my bench, I didn't really give it much of a second thought. I just kind of let Akram's razor do the work for me here. How it is phase one is 5, phase two is 4, phase three is 3. Like, you know, and then, you know, obviously doing the singles in phase 5. But yeah, uh, where was I going with this? One thing I do want to do for bench though is change my jumps. So I took 4% jumps every week for bench. I think that might just be a little bit too aggressive for my bench. So how I'll structure it is at the end I'll try and chip. But then to get there I'll take 3% jumps. And if the week one I feel is too heavy to hit at 6, then I'll just keep adjusting from there, if that makes sense in the spreadsheet. So I'll keep moving it down. It'll suck because then I won't be able to chip the PR for 4s, but um, it's what I have to do, right? I need to look at this as a coach as well because I'm coaching myself and just be objective. So, you know, if it can't work with 3% jumps, I think what I'll do is I don't know, 2% jumps for the end of the block and then 3% jumps in the beginning. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to take a look at the numbers on the spreadsheet and see how the jumps look like. Regardless, like the whole point, bench went well. I'm very happy with bench right now. So all that's left to do is to deadlift today, and I will update you guys on that whenever I do. 395. I was supposed to hit 390 for the day, but I instead of the 2.5s at the end, I loaded up the 5 pounds on each side, so that totaled out to 395. But I still undershot it for the session, so cannot I cannot be like happier with that. Yeah, 395 for not 5 for 4. Paused and it moved at a 7.5. To be honest, on the video it looked like it moved at sub 7, but how it felt was more like a 7 to 8. Deadlifts are trending in such a nice direction. If we hit 500 at the end of the macro cycle, that would be amazing. But again, as I've ranted about in a previous video, I need to kind of just stay in the pocket, stay in the zone, stay locked in, and stay in the present moment, because there's no use in looking at projecteds, because those are just projecteds, those are just numbers on a computer screen. What matters is what I lift out there in the real world, what I put out there in the real world, right? So just gotta keep training, keep living in the present, and eventually I'll hit 500 and then I'll hit 700. So let's talk about now a little bit about how I'm going to structure next block. I've actually already let me pull up the spreadsheet real quick so I know what I'm talking about. I've already like planned out my training really for next block, based on how block 1 went, based on how phase 1 went. So for squats, I'm really kind of just staying in the pocket. I'm not really pushing numbers because again, I really just want to gain confidence with the heavier weights first. So we're still taking 4% jumps because I feel like those were comfortable. The goal weight that I put for the end of the block is 320 for a pause triple, and I'm hoping to hit that at 8 or sub 8. That should be fine. I'm pretty confident, like even right now before doing the block, that I could hit 320. Sub 8. Just pouring my tea. One sec. Like that I'm pretty confident in. But again, that's really just a result of not wanting to push squats too hard, and just gain the confidence first, make sure that it feels, you know, solid on my back, etc., etc. What I changed for bench, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode as well, but if I hadn't, then I apologize. But for bench, I'm going to be taking smaller jumps on a weekly basis, because the 4% jumps were just a little bit too much for bench week to week. So yeah, I forgot that on bench, you know, adding an extra 2.5 on each side is a lot more significant than when you add an extra 2.5 on each side for squat or for deadlift. So yeah, instead of 4% jumps, I'm going to be taking 2.5% jumps every week. But based on how the numbers came out, so my primary bench at the end of week 4, I'm going to do like 190. or that's my goal weight, 190 to 195 um, at the end of the block, right? So for four, at I mean, the most RP that I'll allow is 9, but we want it to be at like 8 to 9 or sub 8 if possible, right? So, um, 190 for 4. To be quite honest, I'm pretty confident I can hit that at sub 8. So maybe I'll move that up too, but yeah, we'll see. Um, One sec. Should take a sip of this tea. Still hot though. It's still hot. I'll wait for it to cool down a little longer. And then for deadlift, which is really exciting actually. I'm not really making a whole lot of changes to deadlift really. I'm just doing paused doubles now instead of um, paused fours. So they are going to get heavy. I mean, considering we're already kind of doing like doubles, but they're paused doubles, right? So not too heavy yet, but 440 paused double at the end of the block. That's going to be very exciting. Um, I think I can do it honestly. Like I think I can hit this at sub 8, just based on how deadlifts are trending right now. So yeah, if I hit a 440 pause deadlift sub 8, pause double on deadlift sub 8, I mean that'll be ridiculous. Then I'll definitely be on track to hit something nice at the end of the macro cycle. So let's see. Again, we still got to do the damn thing. So let's just not get ahead of ourselves and continue to build this momentum and yeah, see where we end up. So that's it for the end of the block update. Catch you guys next week. Next week will probably just be a deload episode. Probably just chill, maybe rant about more life stuff since there's not really going to be a whole lot to talk about training wise. I mean, deload at the end of the day, but we'll see. I'll play it by ear and see what kind of video I want to upload by then. So, yeah. Peace, guys.